Hello, I'm going to give a run through of OnShape. I'm not saying that this is the best way to use this platform. This is how I learned how to use it in the past couple of weeks coming from SolidWorks. So take everything what I say with a grain of salt. We're going to be doing the training. Whenever you sign into your OnShape, I've added you to a classroom if you gave me your email, and you're going to have this access to this training folder. Within this training folder, you're not going to have access to delete any of these parts. Or using either parts. You can look at them to get like key dimensions, but you can't do any changes. You can't make any edits to it. Um, and yeah, so first thing we get into Onshape, you're gonna get to see this screen here. We're gonna go to 2024 off season. Um, Create your own folder. I'm gonna name this one JSON training. And then within this one, I'm gonna identify what level this is. So this is level 1. And then within level 1, we're gonna create our document called 90-degree gusset. So we're going to be making the 90-degree gusset within this video. Um, what is expected for you for level 1 is to complete the 90-degree gusset, the frame gusset, and the frame gusset is the gusset we're going to use in our spur drive chassis, the 135-degree gusset, the T gusset, and the 45-degree gusset. You can open these parts up to figure out what the key dimensions are, what angles they are, even though they're in the title, so that when you're remaking this for yourself for the badge, you have access to it. So within a 90-degree gusset, the first thing you got to do is the first thing I did was click on this top in the top right here, and then I click on sketch. Just identifies your sketch, and then you got to click on the plane that you want the sketch to be on. And I am doing a line since the gusset is pretty much just a line. Um, just doing a line, and since it's a 90-degree gusset, or if you do a dimension, so you do like a D or click D or click on that button there. You can click from here to get your angle, and you're going to see that it's 90 degrees, and that's exactly what we want. Um, we're going to dimension each one of these lines to 2.5, and then we're going to do a circle from the middle part, and we're going to dimension that to 0.201. 0.201 is the clearance hole size for a 1032 screw. And another reference, the orange screws that we use. And then we got to make 5 holes here and here. I'm going to show you in 2 different ways, the tedious way, and then there's one way using a linear pattern. So we can click on circles. We can add 5 more circles, and then we can do a dimension within each circle of zero point 0.5. We use 0.5. 0.5 is our standard distance between um, our holes when we're doing a pattern, so that we can have the flexibility to move stuff by 0.5 an inch. And then now we got to make these all 0.201. And now we have the 5 holes vertical. But another way to do this is use the linear pattern. You can click on linear pattern, and you click on the hole that you want to do. And within linear pattern, this number that's right here is going to say what your spacing of each linear entity is going to be. We want our linear entity to be 0.5, and this is the multiplier. How many of them are you making? So since we want to create 5, you just click 5, and that is done. You just left click somewhere else, and now that has been created. We have our linear pattern now. So what we need to do now is we need to add the sides. Um, Most of the time, whenever you create stuff, it'd be like 1 inch. For the width of it, but we actually want these gussets to fit nicely within box tubing, which is most likely where we're going to be used at. So we're going to have a total width of point or yeah, 0.9 inches. So we're going to do an offset, which is somewhere. There goes offset, and then we can click, and then we can do whatever 0.9 divided by 2. I think that's 0.45. That's how much we're going to offset it. Now we can do another offset of the same entity. If you click on it, if you do a negative 0.45, it actually would offset to the other direction. So now we have that. Now we're going to do the same thing for these ones, and then a negative 0.45, negative 0.45. And now we got to do lines to connect to everything else. So now we can do a L for line, connect your top, bottom, and then we can do a line, have them overlap, and then we can do a trim there. And a trim will remove um, excess stuff. So those lines that was excess here, if you do a trim and click on those lines or like something like that, it will actually remove the extra material. And now that that part is done, we need to add fillets. Um, we can do that after we extrude. So we hit check mark on the sketch. Now we got to extrude the sketch. We need to add material to the sketch. So you hit extrude, and then you got to click on the entities that we want to extrude. We want to click on everything besides circles. Make sure everything is highlighted. You can middle mouse button to rotate something. If you middle mouse button and hold control, you actually pan it. And then we're going to have the thickness be 0.25. Now we have added the gusset, and it's a solid, and click on that. And now we want to add a fillet to the corners. So the corners want to get when you have very sharp edges, and it's impossible for us to machine this anyways. Let's use a bandsaw. If we're using this on the CNC router, we need to have some type of fillet because the we don't have a small enough end mill to actually produce this part. Um, and then with sharp corners like this, it actually makes the part weaker, so it's better to have a fillet. So we're gonna have our fillet here, here, pretty much all around the part. Have our fillet. We're going to do a 0.25 fillet and click on it. And now we have a completed 90-degree gusset. This is all we need. We're going to mass reduce some of these for the season so we have them ready. And they're also going to be included in this our standard parts. So you've made the gusset. You don't have to recreate it anymore. You can import it into parts which we do in a later episode or a later video. That's all for this one. To complete the rest of the badges, like I said again, go create the frame gusset, the 135, T gusset, and a 45-degree gusset.